Okay. So welcome everybody. You can have your camera on, you can have your camera off. I do love seeing everybody's faces, particularly at the beginning. There's going to be people arriving late and leaving. It's one of those awkward times. I do find with women, I've worked with women for 8 years and I have not nailed the perfect time. So if anybody could tell me the perfect day of the week, months of the year, and time that you are not busy, that would be fantastic because I've tried so many different. I do find this time of year is the calm before the storm. So when I was like, do you know what? Yeah, let's do this. We've got over the school holidays. Don't know about you, school holidays, then October seems to come really quick. And then that Halloween, and we don't even do bonfire night, but it feels a bit chaotic. And then it's just a little bit calm. So has anybody done any female archetype work before? No. Okay. I remember a few years ago and I was like, what's this archetype stuff? And there's loads of different ways of explaining the archetypes. We're just going over a few today, a few that have helped me. And the way that I use this work is basically, or this knowledge is basically fun, right? Healing and inner child work and emotional stuff can actually be sometimes lack fun. So when I'm low energy, low vibe, I tune into my archetypes. When I'm in my drama or victim, I'm like, yes, that little girl's come back out again. What does she need? And it's just a more fun way of doing things. Men have archetypes too. Okay, so it can be really helpful to just learn this stuff. So tell me why you're here. I'm sure it's not just because you had a spare hour. I'm sure there's a reason you were drawn to me or something that I said. So you can unmute or you can share it in the chat. You can just speak out, whoever speaks first.
I guess I'm here. I'll always talk, Emma, you know that. I'm here because I read all the stuff that you put and it's really interesting. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to try it.
Cool.
Really.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's just a fun way of doing it. And we will be going into the life audit linked to this as well. Anybody else want to share?
I will. I don't mind. Hi.
Hi.
I've been off the radar from you for a while, Emma. I'm still part of your group, but I've just gone a bit AWOL. So apologies. But yeah, I'm just in a weird place in my life, I think, at the moment. So when I read your email, I only saw it this morning. A lot of it resonated with me. I was like, do you know what? Fuck it. I need to kind of just have a bit of a moment. So that's kind of my why, if you like.
I love that. And I'll just briefly share oh my God, when I started to do this work was 2018, when my ex-partner left. And it was my first weekend without Hugo ever. And I was like a little bit lost. And should I be sad? Should I be happy? I was a mix of all of it. And there was this woman that I'd been following, and I was actually part of her group for ages, but done none of the work. Right? But she was always there. And I'm so glad I kept part of the group because she was always there. And then on this miserable Sunday day, I sat down with my laptop and I binge watched her for 7 hours. I ended up working with her. I ended up going on a retreat in Costa Rica with her. She nearly helped me write a book. I didn't end up doing that. And I nearly signed up to her 50 grand a year membership. I know. 1-to-1. I know. And then I was like, no, this is a little bit too much. I'm all in for growth and expansion. I really am. But that's like more than I have the money to put down on a house. So I was like, but yes, so being there, yeah, being new to this. Hi, Hannah, my lovely. So Amparo, what a beautiful name. I hope I've pronounced that right. It is gorgeous. Why are you here, my lovely?
So I've seen you once having I'm finished with Christina. She's yeah. So she actually I'm going through a funny time as well, and she sent me a WhatsApp, and she said, "Oh, you know, would you like to join?" I said, "Actually, I do." Yeah, so I'm excited.
Oh, I love funny times. I had a funny time last year as well. God knows what was going on last year. I thought I didn't know what was going on. And I've grown out of it and expanded. And I knew at the time it would expand me, but it was awful at the time. So anybody that's going through a tough time, I hear you, I see you. It's heavy sometimes, right? It can be heavy. Hannah, my lovely, do you want to share why you're here? You don't have to, it's an invitation.
Hi. Yeah, just always interested to self-improve, to see how to put my time and energy in the right place.
Good. Right, lovely. So I have so much to cover, right? I really want to just, this was a whole module in one of my memberships, and we're covering it in like very little time. So I'm going to go for it. And in the chat, you are welcome, if I can find my chat, to say, oh my God, that's me. I so resonate with this. I really actually sometimes like that. That's absolutely fine. I might sometimes tell you to wave your spirit fingers. And that means, oh my God, I'm resonating with this, right? Because we don't have enough time for you to all share how you feel about this, what's come up for you, because that would take like a long time to really delve into this. So have your notebooks, do your spirit fingers, use the chat. Okay, I'm going to try and make it as interesting as I can. I am going to admit that I'm not feeling 100% today with my brain fog, and that's because I'm dehydrated. That is not an issue with menopause. That is an issue with me not drinking enough water. If anybody has brain fog, you've got to pack the water in, okay? Water and healthy fats before we moan about brain fog. And I haven't been drinking enough water. I've been drinking a lot of Diet Coke. There we go. So that's why I've got brain fog, and that's why I have a pelvic floor problem today that I've nearly leaked a few times because of the Diet Coke. Okay, so often it never is our body, it is what we are feeding and giving our body and not listening. So I am actually going to do something that I very rarely do, which is share the screen, because I hate those PowerPoint presentations, but I'm not as with it as I wanted to be. So we're going to do it. Right, and let me just, I'm so organized, as you can tell. Oh, I might have to oh, is there a child? Right, stop share. No, I can't do it. I can't do the share thing. It feels like I'm at school. Can't do it. Right, we'll do it. We'll do it as I know it. Okay, let's go. Let's talk about the mother archetype. Okay, now this doesn't mean that you have to be a mother, okay? But it's the mother archetype. So when we think about the mother archetype, she's the nurturer, nourisher, she's the carer, she's the giver, she's the nurse, yeah? She's all of those things. Who can give me a hands up that they're those? All of those things. Nurturer, nourisher, giver, carer, look after everything, do everything, right? Great, you are in your mother archetype. However, the shadow of the mother archetype, right? So there's a shadow which is basically when we're living too much in our mother archetype. Yeah, so celebrate if you are the mother. Great, that's amazing. You're not doing anything bad, but you may be low on energy. You may not be feeling 100%. You may have lost your va-va-voom, right? You may feel a little bit off, and that's because you're in your shadow of the mother. And the shadow of the mother looks after everybody else before herself, pretty much all the time. The shadow of the mother will always think about other people and making sure that they are looked after before looking after herself, okay? She often doesn't accept support. I'll do it, because if I don't do it, it doesn't get done properly. Has anybody ever said that? Often we say, if I don't do it, it doesn't get done. But actually, what we actually mean is if I don't do it, it doesn't get done the way that I want it to be done. So that is in the shadow of the mother. The shadow of the mother can also be a little bit controlling, like I just said, right? You have to load the dishwasher this way, otherwise it's not right and I'm not happy. You have to do it my way. And the shadow of the mother often doesn't accept support because they feel that accepting support means that they're not coping. What will others think of them? They're very scared of judgment, particularly from other women. And like I said, they've lost connection with themselves a little bit. Okay. And it's, I can only do X, Y, Z when everybody else in the house is happy. Yeah. And that isn't always just the house. It's like, I can't have pleasure if somebody else I know is in pain. Okay, so I often hear, oh, I was going to ring you, Emma, but my best friend's mother's just found out she's got something, and and it's all that. They cannot put themselves first until everybody else in the world is like great, happy, doing good. Okay, who feels like they live a little bit in the shadow of the mother? So if we were 10, I'm very in the shadow of the mother, and 0, I didn't really relate to the shadow of the mother at all. Where would you sit? What number? Give me hands. That'd probably be quicker.
7.
Yeah, 7. I think we've got 6, 4. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. So sometimes when we're low on energy, do you know what? I'm really in my mother archetype at the minute. Like, I'm really, really in it. And that's why I've got no energy, because I can't do this until that. Okay. Just notice it and flip it around. Okay, that's it. That's the mother archetype. Then we have the maiden archetype. Let's go for the maiden next. So the maiden is the young version of you. Okay, the fun, the creative, the wild, the curious, the playful part of you. Yeah, the one that gets up and like, oh my God, look at that beautiful blue sky and that wonderful flower. Oh, I wonder what it would look like to try that new dance routine out, to give that a go. Oh, I love colouring. Colouring really calms me down. So I'm going to sit and I'm going to colour. I'm going to try that new class, even though I have no idea what it's going to be like, because I want to try it and I want to be curious. And it doesn't matter what happens because I'm trying it out and it's fun. And she gets ready and she's playful and she enjoys making herself look good, look nice. Okay, so that is the maiden. She just wants to give everything a go. She's really in her body as well, and she's playful. Does that sound a lot like you, or not a lot like you? No. Okay. So the shadow of the maiden. So this is when you are when you think of the good girl. Okay, trying to make sure that everybody, you're pleasing everybody again before you look after yourself. The shadow of the maiden can also be a bit, oh gosh, this has happened to me and things always happen to me. Oh, it's sod's law. I never get, nothing ever happens good to me. There's always something. Whenever I go to look after myself or do something, it's just sod's law that something happens. So the shadow of the maiden can be called the victim. She can be called a little bit of a victim and drama. There's always a drama. And she said that, and he said that, and I said that, and she said that, and they can be a little bit childlike. Okay, so that is the shadow of the maiden. Who feels that they need more maiden in their life? More playful maiden? Yeah, the actual embody. Yeah. Who can notice that the shadow of the maiden comes up a little bit? maybe with the people pleasing, or maybe like being needy. Yeah, like, oh, poor me. This is happening to me again. And that can be nice as well, as long as we're not always in that. You know, I love a big, strong man coming up to me and saying, can I help you change that tire? Me saying yes is not being in the shadow of the maiden. Me saying yes is like, yeah, cool. Thank you, King. I really loved that, because I have no desire to change a tire at all, right? That isn't being in the shadow of the maiden. The shadow of the maiden would be like, oh, it always happens to me and no one ever helps me and I and all that kind of like drama, and then going to work that next day and talking about it again, and going to work the next day and talking about it, and then meeting somebody and how's your day, and you're talking about your drama again, right? Everything is drama, drama, drama. That is the shadow of the maiden. Okay, and I was definitely like that a few years ago. Definitely. And it is energy draining. Yeah. The shadow of the maiden, and this may trigger some people. I've done it. So if I've done it, other people have done it. The shadow of the maiden is often somebody that also, say they go to hospital, they will put on Facebook, back in A&E again. But they don't say why they're in A&E. They want loads of people to ask why they're in A&E and ask if everything's okay. And, you know, I definitely, when Hugo was ill, when he was little, I wanted everybody to know that Hugo was ill so that I could, you know, get that support. Whereas actually, if I was in my queen energy, which we'd come to, I'd be like, this shit has happened. Everybody please send me love, right? Because I need love. That's okay to want that. And that's a much better way of doing it than I'm back in A&E again. Because that's like almost the drama. Does that make sense? Like distinguishing between the two. So let's just flip it a little bit. Who can see in their childhood their mother was in the shadow of the mother archetype? Or their father was in the shadow? Anybody? Always doing, giving before, yeah? And anybody have in their life an auntie or a sister or a mother that can be quite drama-y, like the shadow of the maiden, or always like, oh, sod's law? Like I've got one client and she said, oh, well, worrying's just in my family. And I'm like, no, it's in your family because it's been passed down and that's what you think you need to do. You think that's it. So anybody kind of like worrying's another one, always like worrying. Cool. So we'll go to the huntress now. Okay. So the huntress is one that many of my clients resonate with. I love the huntress. She's the warrior woman. She is the Wonder Woman. She gets stuff done. She's got lists and she loves ticking those lists off. She is a high achiever. She loves setting goals. She's that kind of like, well, she's always doing. She's always giving. She's always doing. She's always productive. She's performance driven. She's in control. She's that kind of warrior woman. Who would resonate with that woman? Yeah, cool. A lot of people do. I definitely used to. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with being this huntress. However, when I'm in hunter, I always wondered, why am I so low energy? So I was in the shadow of the mother, which is always giving, always doing, always making sure everybody's okay. I was in the shadow of the maiden, more than I was the maiden playful, which was worry and drama and victim and sharing stories and all that kind of stuff. And then I was also shadow of the hunter. So the energy was draining out of me from doing all these things, right? And not being embodied in the actual mother archetype, maiden and hunter. So the shadow of the hunter, when she struggles, she's always in doing mode. She struggles to be. She's the woman that says, oh, I just don't have time to meditate. or I just can't sit still to meditate. There's always something to be done. If she's not being productive, right, then she has a little bit of imposter syndrome. She doesn't feel enough. So she looks to be more productive. She can often be crippled with productivity. It's actually kind of crippling her. That to-do list, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's more and more and more. She feels that she has to earn her rest. I hear this a lot. So only when XXX is done, can I then rest? Could I then meditate? Could I then stretch? And at the end of the day, this is why none of her stuff that she wants to do is getting done, often because she's in the shadow of the mother as well, because she's in this kind of productivity. She fears letting go of control, literally letting go of this crippling productivity actually makes her feel unsafe, and it actually brings like a fear in her body. This definitely happened to me last year. I felt so unsafe because I was just letting everything go, surrendering, letting go, and that feels really unsafe. The biggest thing is staying, because that's unsafe as well, right? So yeah, imposter syndrome. She feels that she is lazy if she isn't doing, and her overachieving or always striving is actually exhausting her. Her mind's got like 100 tabs open. Who relates to the huntress? Yeah, I think this was the one that when I read about the huntress, I was like, yes, that's me. And then when I read about the shadow of the huntress, I was like, oh yes. Like, that's surrendering. Surrendering is such a beautiful word, and actually it feels like letting go, but actually it's holding on like with this tight grip that's actually exhausting. And the huntress can try and control everything. And this is a question that I ask a lot of my clients in huntress. What are you actually in control of that you keep trying to control? Can you control the weather? Can you control how somebody reacts? Can you control a lot of what you're trying to control is actually out of our control? It's a great one to look at. Really good one to look at. So the huntress, when I'm in huntress mode for a week, I'm exhausted. Absolutely exhausted. So women that come to me tend to have been in huntress mode most of their life, with the mother and the maiden shadow as well, and they're exhausted. Okay, one of the biggest issues that I'm seeing with this perimenopause, menopause talk is that women these days can't rest and be. Okay, it's one of the biggest things. If we can learn to rest, it's amazing. And then we have these things, but if I don't do it, it doesn't get done. Yeah, how on earth do I rest? What do I let go of? And this is just an invitation to start looking at what you're saying yes to. Is it really your desires, or is it what you're told you should do or follow through? Yeah, and it will slowly peel away. My life that I have now, I remember listening to this, not realizing how it was going to ever be available to me. And it just did. It just slowly started to happen, learning this kind of thing. Yeah. So we then have the lover. Okay, so the lover archetype. She feels sexy and sensual. She's embodied. She loves having pleasure. She loves saying what she needs in the bedroom, what she desires. She oozes confidence, absolutely oozes confidence. And she likes to look after herself for sure, but it's not about kind of the outside, like hair, nails, and all that kind of stuff. It's this inner feeling that she has, this embodied woman. She understands what she needs. She, in sex, she will slowly allow herself to open up. And if her partner tries to penetrate too soon, she's not ready, she wants to take it slowly, she will say what she needs. Yeah, she is, oh, I love the lover archetype. Who is in their lover archetype in life? So let's just take a pause for a minute. No wonder us as women are feeling pretty exhausted, because we're in Huntress, which is quite masculine. Okay, we're in Huntress, doing. We're in giving mode. We're not in our lover, pleasure, confident mode, which is lover, or kind of like the maiden, which is playful. No wonder so many women are walking around looking pretty heavy in the face. Yeah, and we just can change this up and start like, I want more maiden, right? Or I want more, you know, at the minute, I need a little bit more Huntress in my life because I've gone way into love. I need a little bit more strategy to come in. And you may find that this is what I'm sharing. I was way in my Huntress and shadow of my mother archetype, and then I went, whoa, and then nothing got done. I was like, do you know what? The dishwasher, everything can wait. It was like I'd taken weed. I was just like, wait, everything can wait till Emma's had pleasure, like Emma's world. The lover archetype is also, when I say embodied and in love with her body, I do not wake up and look in the mirror naked and go, oh my God, I love everything on my body. I'm still not at that point yet. I hope to get to that point as I keep doing the work. I have great days and not so good days. Body dysmorphia comes up for me a lot. However, the lover archetype is always trying to think and see her body as a temple. Okay, so she loves her body that much that it's a temple. So whatever she puts in is a full-bodied yes. Whatever she consumes is a full-bodied yes. And I liken this to sex, for instance. I will not let anybody in my goddess temple unless she is ready and open and relaxed to receive, and they have wiped their feet several times and bowed down to me. Okay. Nobody would come and say, oh, your mouth's wet, you've got saliva in your mouth, and you're like, yes, oh, here's a banana, let me shove it in, which is what a lot happens in sex, which is, oh, well, you're wet, therefore we can put this thing in. Okay, so also the lover, what we consume as in other people's energy. Okay, what we consume in other people's energy, as well as food and drink. Okay, so when you're embodied in the lover, you're able to say, I've been on my phone an hour. That's not good. I think I need to put it down, right? You kind of call yourself out. The shadow of the archetype, I was definitely in the shadow of the lover. The shadow of the lover is obsessed with how they look on the outside. Okay, rather than how they feel on the inside. So they're obsessed with their hair, they're obsessed with buying makeup, they, you know, injections a little bit too much, nails always have to be perfect, always have to be turned out perfect. And I'm not against that, but it's almost like an obsession, right? Obsession with the gym, obsession with their physical. They can also not see beauty as being within. And they can also manipulate men with their beauty. So a bit of a prick tease and flirt, okay, to get what they want. And I love a little bit of flirting, but it's when you're doing it to manipulate, okay? So who feels that their lover is pretty way off what they are? Who feels embodied as the lover? And as women, we're meant to be. Like, this is like when people die, right? We always say in the family, I had a death last year, and we always say, oh my God, we only live once. Life is for living. And then we just go back to our busy lives, right? And as women, did you know the number one thing we thrive on? Pleasure. Pleasure. Creative pleasure, fun, freedom, all that kind of stuff. And actually, as a woman, our body loves to be touched. However, I would say that we are all touch starved by good touch, soft touch, gentle touch, loving touch. But then I would also say that most of us feel touched out as well. Who feels touched out? So a little story, my boy is 12, goes 12. So why am I still touched out? I thought touched out was about being a mother, you know, having a child off you or whatever. But actually, sometimes I don't want to be touched because there's trauma in my body. That trauma for me isn't necessarily sexual trauma, although there is sexual trauma, but there's trauma that I can remember having operations and being held down and having to go in for an emergency operation. Amazing, they saved my life twice. I wouldn't be here. Thank you, medical staff. But that brings trauma into my body. So sometimes when somebody touches me and I'm not ready to be touched, I can push the pleasure away. Okay, and this is work that I've been doing. Doesn't mean that you need to bring this heavy trauma up. It just means that you need to be aware of this. Okay, but we're so pleasure starved as women. So pleasure starved. That's what I see most of the time anyway. Don't hear very many people, women, embodied in their lover archetype, and it's something that I'm still working on as well. The lover archetype, she would kind of have joygasms, as I call them. So with the maiden, you know, it's a bit of fun, a soulgasm, a joygasm. Yeah, she has a lot of those. Okay, where are we? Okay, so we've done recap, we've done mother, we've done maiden, we've done huntress, we've done lover. Okay, so the next one that I really love is the wild woman. I think the wild woman's probably one of my favorites. So she's free-spirited, she's spiritual, she lives in alignment, she does things like naked swimming, naked waterfalls, she does ecstatic dance, she's into just having fun. She's very much like the maiden for that, but the wild woman is a little bit more embodied. Okay, so whereas the maiden can be a little bit more chaotic and her emotions are everywhere, the wild woman is still emotional. So whenever we do this work, it doesn't mean we're not going to have emotions, right? I am an emotional, chaotic, unpredictable woman. The sooner you understand that, the better you can grow, right? Because if you're trying to be this happy, perfect person without feeling these emotions, then that's the issue, right? That's the issue. So the wild woman feels everything, right? She's like the dark feminine. I'll come into that as well, which can be mixed up with the lover a little bit as well. So she feels everything, but she's like, I'm angry. Yes, I'm angry. So I'm going to embody that anger. How can I move this anger through my body instead of keeping it in the shoulders and then going into the shadow of the maiden going, and she said that, and he said that, and I said that. Like the wild woman, she goes, I'm angry. How can I let this anger out of me? How can I embody this anger? How can I move this anger through me? How can I be okay with being angry? Because we often don't like the emotion anger because it's feared, because our parents didn't like it when we were angry. We got told off when we were angry for being naughty. So we see anger as a bad emotion and happiness as a good one. Who sees anger as bad and happy as good? Or who finds it easier to live happy? I know I prefer that. Oh, everything's great. Then, yeah, it feels a little bit scary. I'm sometimes scared of my own anger. But the wild woman will kind of embody that and then see the anger as a message, right? Whereas the maiden, she hasn't quite got that. So that's just one emotion. Obviously, you've got anxiety as well. and she's just a little bit more embodied. So living in the shadow, she speaks her truth. She's in connection with her chakras. She makes decisions from her gut, from her intuition, rather than her mind. But the shadow of the wild woman is she can be a little bit, she can speak her truth and be a little bit abrupt with it. She can be a little bit too crazy. She can lose friends because she's a little bit too wild. A great book to read that really resonates with me with the wild woman is a book by Glennon Doyle called Untamed. Okay, so you'll see then how tamed you are. And then the wild woman is like, I am not living in this cage anymore. Get me out of this box. Because it's the box that's been causing me the anxiety. It's the box that's been causing me the anger. Anger is not a bad emotion. Anger is a message. A lot of women are angry because their needs are not being met. A lot of women have anxiety because it's a fear of the unknown. When we can go, oh, I am angry because I feel unloved. Oh, okay. How can I love myself? Oh, get the lover archetype. Yeah, and that's how it kind of it comes in. So wild woman, we've done mother, we've done maiden. The wise woman is a little bit similar to the wild woman. So the wise woman, she would be called the crone. Okay. Oh, we didn't do the dark feminine. So yeah, the dark feminine is definitely in the wild woman as well, where she moves how she wants to move. So if anyone has seen my Instagram videos where I'm twerking and I'm thrusting and I look like I am literally effing the floor, right? That's me and my wild woman. That's me, like I'm either super, super happy, like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening to me. This is amazing. And I just need to move this through me. And the way it comes out of me is just, it's wild movement. It's primal. It's crazy. And I embody that. But sometimes I'm really goddamn angry. Instead of being in that kind of maiden of slamming the doors and slamming the cupboards and huffing and puffing, that would definitely be the shadow of the maiden stroke mother as well. Instead of being that, I'm actually like, oh my God, this has pissed me off. And I'm going to put a dark song on, sensual song on. This isn't a pop song. This is a dark feminine. And I am going to thrust it out. And I tell you, in 4 minutes, I feel amazing, right? Instead of like my mom, my mom's shoulders are literally up here all the time because she's just so angry with the world. Just let it out. That doesn't mean the shadow of the wild woman she can let it out at people. We don't let it out at people. I've just shown you how we let it out. Okay, and then we get our journal out, and then we zoom out, and we're like, you know, how do I feel on this? We never say, why do I feel this way? What's wrong with me? We say, I feel this because, I need because. Yeah, and if you're assuming anything with anybody else, you always need to ask yourself, do I know that for certain? Because normally, unless you ask that person, you don't know. Right? Hi, Abby, my lovely. Okay, so the wise woman, she's a bit like the wild woman, but the wise woman is older. I suppose it's a bit like me. She's the crone, as they used to call them. I don't like that word, so I will be the wise wild woman. She is in touch with herself. She is embodied, right? She is looking at the world and making her own decisions. She is living untamed. She might be getting more into spirituality, cacao ceremonies, sound baths, ecstatic dance again. She's looking at her health, but she's not necessarily like listening to the doctors. Okay, she's actually thinking, is there another way? She's a little bit witchy as well, so she can be a little bit feared because she's saying things that medical and science aren't saying. She's researching, she's looking at different things. She might go on plant medicine journeys, did that the other day. She's exploring again, but she's obviously, because she's wiser, she speaks her truth from a place of real kind of grounding. And when we say speaking our truth, we often can go in with an attack of like, we kind of like think we're speaking our truth, we go in with an attack, we can be passive aggressive, but she's doing it more like, that really hurt me, what you just said. I knew that wasn't what you meant. However, this is how it came across. I think what you meant was, is that right? Do you think you can do that for me? Do you think you can support me in that way? She's just comes from a place of just calmness and wiseness. The shadow of the wise woman is, I was definitely in this. She can often be on such a journey of self-development that she forgets to have fun and pleasure. She's like trying to heal this trauma and trying to heal that trauma and looking into mother and father wounds and doing all this stuff, and researching that she forgets to actually have fun. And she can lose a few friends this way. Okay, she can lose some of her friends. That's definitely happened to me. I was definitely in that as well. So I was like, oh, I think I'm in the shadow of the wise woman here. I need to bring more of my maiden out. I need to bring more of my wild out, because actually healing is in the pleasure, right? This is where I went into the female sensuality, because I understood, oh my God, we're doing all this mindful work. It's like we think that we've got the mind and then we think we've got the body, but we're missing out on the pleasure. Like when that comes, the joygasms, the soulgasms, the menogasms, as my new book's going to be called. New book, I haven't written the other one yet. It's in the head. But yeah, so I was definitely in the shadow of the wise woman. They could do plant ceremony after plant ceremony after plant ceremony, almost looking for something to fix them. Okay. So let's look at the wild woman. Who likes the wild woman? Who wants to be more wild woman? What's scary about the wild woman?
I'm not scared of the wild woman. I'm not actually scared. It's inspiring.
Yeah. So I haven't done it for quite a few months actually, but it was called Wild Fit, although I'm currently changing the name of it. And it was basically based on the wild woman and the lover, and letting all the huntress out. And we thrusted and we twerked. This is not a dance class, so there's no dance steps. It's not pole. It is literally embodying that wild woman and really starting to kind of move all that energy through us. And the wild woman and the lover is often feared, and the wise woman is often feared because they're different. They're living untamed. They are different to the normal, right? I went on the school run, and one of the ladies said, what have you done today? And I thought, if she asks me if I've been busy once more, I'm going to scream. Every day it was like, if you had a busy day, every single day. And I was like, I don't do busy days anymore. I try not to do busy days anymore. No, I've rested. Oh, is there something wrong with you? No, there's nothing wrong with me. I just rested. I don't need anything wrong with me to rest. Okay. And then this one day I just said I self-pleasured all day. Honestly, I love sharing that story. And she just literally has never spoken to me since. I hate people greeting me with, have you had a busy day? Or even worse, on a Monday morning, have you got a busy day today? What's this thing about busy? I want to be a well-pleasured wild woman. Thank you very much. And I honestly believe we need more of me in this world to just bring lightheartedness. Does that mean I never go in my huntress? No. Does that mean I'm never in my shadow of my maiden? No, I'm a human being and I get it wrong as well. But I'm more playful with it, right? I'm more playful with all this healing as well. So the wise woman. The wise woman is definitely kind of in that menopause kind of phase. I'm a bit like that about menopause, whether it really exists or if it doesn't exist. And that is somebody, before you shout at me and throw daggers at me, that has been through it, is going through it, doesn't know where she is in it. But I'm wondering if it's more like a death that we all have. And for me, it was, I had so much unprocessed stuff that came up with grief at the same time, mixed with all different stuff going on. I'm wondering if I lived my life more in the wild and maiden, which I really believe is me, like fun and wild and creative and like that kind of person. But I was told I had to be the huntress, and then I had to be the mother, and I was like in a box, right? And I'm wondering if I didn't have to live that way, if my menopause would have been so bad. Was it that I was literally in burnout? Or is it menopause? I don't really know. I still don't know, and I suppose I'll never know. There is a great book if you're coming into the wise woman phase, and you're coming into this perimenopause. There's so much on it at the minute. I do not agree with half of what Davina McCall says, but then I love her at the same time and respect her. But there is this book called Second Spring by Kate Podrington. And last year, I would literally say this book saved my life. Okay, it's not on about hormone control. It's not on about whether you should take HRT or not. It's not on about the health in that way. It is more of what I kind of preach. Okay, and it just got me through. One of the phrases that I opened up was, it's a really easy read as well, because I struggle with books, believe it or not, but one of the pages that I opened up said, I thought I was going mad, and then I realized it was the rest of the world that was mad. And that really stuck with me. I've got shivers, goosebumps, because honestly, last year I thought I was losing it. I literally wanted to be booked into the Priory. I was like, I just don't know what's going on. I've done all this inner work. What the hell is going on? And, you know, she writes about menopause being a grieving process, a loss. You can feel a loss, you know, things are moving on. It just is. And then I looked and I remembered Glennon Doyle, and I was like, yeah, you know, we're trying to look for this fix for menopause. And actually, this is just what I need to move through. Okay, anyway. So that's the why. I believe I really did tap into my wise woman, but I definitely went too much into my wise woman, like I went too much into my lover. Okay, and the last one we have is Queen, and then we're going to move on to our life audits. Okay, so the Queen is the Queen. She's the goddess, right? I'm never sure whether to call her queen or goddess. And just a little while ago, I remembered somebody said, oh, as women, we're goddesses. Oh my God, did I cringe at that word? I was like, goddess? I'm not a goddess. I'm not a goddess. Like, it was just cringeworthy. And queen energy, and now I'm like all over it, right? Because I want to be a queen. I want to be treated like a queen. In my relationships, I want to be treated like a queen, and he is my king, right? I am not Cinderella living on crumbs. Okay, I am a queen of my energy. So if we think queen of our energy, she is the boundary setting queen. She loves setting those boundaries. And she doesn't see boundaries as like almost like a stop sign, which can feel a bit icky. She sees it as setting higher standards for herself, right? So Queen removes this word boundaries and adds in, I just need higher standards. So she's asked to go somewhere, and she's like, do I really want to do this? No. And so therefore she replies, thank you so much for thinking of me. No, thank you. There's no sorry. She doesn't need to say sorry. She doesn't need to make up an excuse. She doesn't need to send a whole WhatsApp as why you can't make it or why it doesn't align with you. She simply says, thank you for thinking of me. Or maybe not thank you for thinking of me, because we said thank you twice. I'm so honored you thought about me. It's lovely that you thought about me. No, this don't float my boat. Thanks, bye, that's it. She's definitely not saying sorry 100 times. My hairdresser, who I love, though I'm not that keen on this colour, but anyway, it's a different story. My hairdresser, who I love, said sorry 20 times in the first 10 minutes the other day. Sorry for putting you out. Only if you want a coffee. Do you want a coffee? I'll get a coffee if you want a coffee. Oh, sorry. Only if you want a coffee. Oh, sorry for putting you out. Oh, sorry for Oh, sorry for. I literally went, will you shut up with the sorry? There was no need for this sorry. I was in the gym the other day. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, I'm in the way. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Why do we do like, no. Say sorry when you need to say sorry. But most of the time we don't. So that's the queen. She knows herself. She knows she lives in alignment. She's got it all, right? She is embodied, right? Absolutely embodied. She doesn't the victim and the fears. She can understand them and she can embody them. She feels the fear, definitely. And she asks for help. Because most of us fear the fear and do it anyway. I was like that last year, right? And then I reached out to this coach and I said, can you help me? And she went, yeah, and I expanded. I was like, why didn't I do this earlier? She gets the support. Just because she's queen doesn't mean that she doesn't have the support. In actual fact, she loves support. The cleaner, yes, I'll get a cleaner. I saw an advertisement on the Brighton Mother and Baby group, and it was about a cupboard organizer and someone to come and organize your house. Queen, yes. Queen energy, yeah, need that woman. Right, let's go. And she tells her friends, yeah, I've had a personal stylist. Yeah, I have a cleaner. Yeah, I had someone to come and help me. Yeah. And she doesn't keep going around with this kind of sorry. I'll read a little bit more about the queen as well. Just give me a moment. So the shadow of the queen, she can be a bit up herself. She can come across as a bit rude. She can come across as a bit arrogant, yeah, because you know, if you're in the shadow, you need to be very careful with the queen, how you're wording things, right? Because if you're not saying sorry and you're not thanking somebody for thinking of you, that can be quite rude. And for people that don't set boundaries or understand boundaries, you can come across as quite offish, and you know, we don't want to come across as, well, I'm a goddess and you're kind of like down there. Nobody is down there to you. They may not have yet done this inner work, but nobody's better than you. You'll know better, right? You don't need to put yourself up on as a pedestal of being any better than anybody else. If anything, you want to support people in getting to feel how you feel, right? And seeing and helping them that it's available to them. So yeah, she can speak her truth and she can come across as a little bit a little bit up herself and a little bit rude and a little bit sharp. So the queen is embodied, as I said. So she's connected to her body, her energy and emotions. She takes full responsibility for herself. So the other day, my ex-partner sent me a WhatsApp and I went to get back to him a little bit in the shadow of the queen and the maiden. Well, it wasn't my fault. You did this. Like, so I want to go into it because I know that I've done wrong. I wanted to tell him how he'd done wrong as well, rather than actually, yeah, cool, I'll take that. I did do wrong. Yeah. Thanks for bringing it to my attention, and thank you for bringing it to my attention in such a nice way. This is how me and my ex-partner now talk. It's just a shame we didn't talk like this when we lived together, because it would have saved a whole lot of heartbreak and money, right? So if you're in a relationship and you're like, get it, do it, work on it, right? Okay, so yeah. She's balanced her energy, body, and mind. She's able to regulate her body and nervous system. She accepts support. She makes decisions and choices from a regulated place, not a place of fear. She's really intuitive. She's in tune with her body. She also allows herself to be held and supported. She's not like that huntress that won't allow, is this control freak. She enters a new relationship. So if anybody is single, newly single, going into a new relationship, she enters it from a place of intuition, of really feeling through her mind and body. She's let go of perfectionism and people pleasing. Yeah. Okay, who wants more queen? Goddess, queen. So, very quickly, and this isn't a test, which archetype do you think you're really in the shadow of? And which archetype do you want to embody more? If everyone just does that, don't worry, you can't get this wrong. So if I just go around, Alice, do you want to share which one you really feel, there might even be more than one, you're in the shadow, and which one you want to embody?
Sorry, I was trying to find the unmute button. So I feel like I'm definitely in the shadow of the huntress. And I'd like to be more in the whole maiden lover space. Because I feel like I may have forgotten how to have fun. You know? Like pleasure fun. I know what you mean, you know, like I have fun, I see my friends and that's fun, and there's lots of fun in my life, but not free fun, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I actually didn't do it today. I did actually run out of time because I forgot Hugo's friend was coming. But this afternoon I was going to put Madonna on the big TV screen, and I was just gonna spend a whole hour with me and Madonna learning her moves. And that was going to be my soulgasm. Right? You know? So it doesn't have to cost money, you know, wild fit, whatever I decide to call wild fit again. You know, you didn't come to that one, did you, Alice? No.
No, I couldn't make it.
That is kind of like, yeah, definitely. I don't know when the next one is. I'm not plugging that because I need to get on the case of doing it. Let's go for Abby. You didn't hear them all, did you, Abby, actually? So which one do you think, did you hear any of it? Oh, unmute, darling.
Sorry. I came in literally at the introduction of Wise Woman.
Okay.
And I know that back along when I first started working with you, I was going into that very much sort of like sort of self-reflection and trying to find myself. And then obviously things have gone a bit crazy this year and things have changed a lot, and perimenopause, etc. So I feel like there's some of that wise woman, but there's, I think from what you said, sort of looking back, there's little flickers of the wild woman there, the sort of the young, playful, not succumbing to what's expected at this age stage of life sort of thing, and just going, yeah, actually fuck it, this is me now, and wow, this is brilliant. So there's a little bit of that in there, and I would really like to be more queen, and to be able to be connected and aligned with myself and with my emotions, my physical presence, and being more balanced and regulated would be a lovely thing.
Yes, lovely. And I don't know your name, darling. I can't remember. It's got iPhone on it. I know you know.
Was that me?
Yes. What's your name, darling?
I'm Verity.
Verity.
Hello.
Hello.
I think I am in the shadow of the mother and the huntress quite a lot of the time, depending on the day. I would very much like to be more maiden, lover, and queen for sure. I think I used to be, and I think I've lost myself a little bit for various reasons over the last few years. So yeah, this is a bit of a wake-up call, to be honest.
We lose ourselves being these mothers, etc. You know, but we don't want to age. Does everyone want to hear the bitter old woman, the old crone, the old nag? And I really just think it's because she was a woman that stayed in that box of, you know, and was desperate to kind of go, you know, I want more. So yeah, love it. Okay, Ampero.
For me, I think it's similar to what everybody else is saying. Actually, for me, I definitely feel like I'm in the shadow of a mother and a maiden. When I, I was quite emotional actually. We're talking about the lover. I think definitely the lover. Yeah. It's just like that. It was like, oh my God, no, none of that. With everything else, even thinking, well, of course I want to be more of a queen, definitely. But I'm thinking, well, I think I know how to multitask bed. It's okay, but the lover is definitely something I really need.
And
Definitely.
yeah, and to say that with the lover we don't need a partner, I did the lover archetype work without a partner.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was
It's
amazing.
about feeling sensual and feeling
Yeah.
that's what, yeah, that's exactly what I need. That's what I need.
And yeah, really learning about the female body. Sadly, sex education isn't great. We think the men should know what to do, and we think that's the way it is as well. Yeah, so this is kind of why I got into the female sensuality, sexuality work. And it's blown me away. And I was a pelvic floor coach, so down there you'd think I'd know a lot, right? But I really didn't. And then there's the playfulness of the lover, and often in relationships we have lost that lust. And often in relationships the lust goes within 4 to 6 months, a lot of women, and then it comes back when we want babies because we're programmed to want sex then, and then it goes again. So it's a different kind of, the lover archetype when she is in penetration, sex with somebody is different. Okay, it's just different the way that I teach it. Hannah, my lovely.
So yeah, I'd say I'm huntress, shadow for sure. With definitely other bits pocketed in, but more as a flash moment rather than the main. And then yeah, queen and lover for sure.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. So it's something that I did this in my membership group, and they just loved it. And I reminded them of it the other day. And sometimes when they're sending me kind of stuff, I'm like, you're just too much. You're low in energy because you're in your huntress and you're on your bleed in your huntress, right? And on our bleed we need to be more relaxed. And if you don't relax on your bleed or rest when you can on your bleed, then the next 3 bleeds are affected. So if we then look at perimenopause, most of us have never been taught, shown to rest on our bleed, and we've been in huntress mode, and then it just hits us, and the body's like, wow, I've had enough, and I'm going to make you rest for a full year. And of course in this busy life we're like, I can't rest for a full year. Imagine if we just could. Would menopause be over quicker? Would it be easier? Like, just saying. Okay, so your homework, we're going to do the life audit now. Your homework is to write down, if you continue as you are for 5 years, how you're going to feel. And if you were to change and to step into the wild queen, you don't have to know the how. Forget the how, right? How would you feel in 5 years' time if you stepped into your queen and wild woman, or whatever it is more, right? You don't have to know the how. And really sit with that. Do you look younger? Do you look healthier? Do you look happier? Do you look more confident? Do you look more free? Do you look less stressed? Right? So that's your homework. That will take 5 minutes. And then which one do you prefer? Staying as you are now or the other one? Okay, so to do the you can also look at the archetypes of a woman and list what you see in your mother or your carer, whoever brought you up. Okay, not to judge them, not to pick on them, just, oh yeah, I never saw my mom rest. My mom never talked about resting when she was on her period. That would be classed as like weak. I know everyone's got different stuff with that, you know. Maybe your mom was in the huntress, always controlling, like she had to control Christmas, had to be done that way. Like, well, that's kind of the shadow a little bit of the huntress. Maybe she was this wise woman and she was like a little bit away with the fairies with her unicorns and her crystals and a little bit too much. I don't know, right? So she might needed to have embodied the huntress, but it's really good to look at that because you can also see trends. Okay. So with the alignment, basically you're going to draw a circle. Okay. It's not that I wasn't prepared for this at all. It's just that, you know, I actually sat down and rested rather than prepared my slides and stuff for it. So you're going to draw a circle. Not sure. You know what a circle is. Everybody knows what a circle is, Emma. They don't need to know how to draw a circle. And then from top to bottom, a line, and then across a line. Yeah, hopefully it'll look a bit better than that. And then diagonal. So diagonal, diagonal. Are we there? Okay. So from the circle there to there, imagine that you had like dots that went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 being on the outside, 1 being on the inside. We're not going to do all those for today because it would take too long, but that's what I want you to imagine. So if you think you're a 5, it's going to be halfway. If you think you're a 9, it's going to be closer up. Everybody understand that? Yeah? Okay. Then you're going to do headings. This is the last thing that we're going to do. It might take another 15, 20 minutes just to give you, I want to definitely be finished on 7. Okay. So at the top of each line, you're going to put physical fitness. So you've got 1 physical fitness. Okay, so that was the top of my line. Top, I write physical fitness there. Then the next one is going to go top of the line, next one. This is health as in food health. Okay, gut health, house. The next one is, you can call it sexual, sensual health. You could call it pleasure. You could call it sex life. Okay. The next one is your relationship. Now, if you don't have a partner, but you have an ex-partner like me, maybe you have children with the ex-partner, then if I didn't have a partner, it could be my relationship with my ex-partner. Or if you've got another relationship that you want to look at, okay, relationship with your siblings, which mine isn't very good, definitely needs work. Then you've got friends. So you've got another heading, friends. Then you've got another heading, career stroke work. And then you should have 1 more. So 2 more, sorry. Ooh. This is finances. And then you've got another one, which is emotions. Okay. So if you were to rate all these, 10 at the top being, I'm on it, oh, I'm sailing through this, and 0 being, oh my God, there's work that needs to be done here. We're going to rate them. So physical fitness is kind of what we class as more kind of, I suppose, outside appearance. Although physical fitness, it could be you can do 20 burpees, you like going out for a run, you go out for a walk every day. It could be that your physio is giving you some stuff to do and you're doing it. So that would be a 10. Okay, so that's how would you rate your physical fitness? Are you consistent? And you can't do this right or wrong because it's how you see it. I'm not going to mark these. I'm not going to say, well, I don't think you're a 5. I would put you here. It's how you see it. So then you've got your health, your diet health. So are you consuming too much alcohol? Are you consuming too much sugar? Are you consuming too much processed food? Or are you trying to be really, really heavy, but you don't healthy, but you don't understand why you're putting on weight? Does it need to, like, do you need to get a specialist, have a look at it? By the way, I just ran a program called Sculpt and Lean, and every single woman on that program said that perimenopause had put weight on them. We're on week 7, 6, and no one believes that anymore because I've just changed the way they're eating. And all but one, who's just had her thyroid checked, but all but one are all women in their 40s, and they are all shaping up and losing body fat. Okay, so you've got your health. How do you rate that? Then you've got your sexual, sensual. If you're in a relationship, maybe that's your sex life. Okay, and maybe it's okay once it gets going, but actually, you know, it's like me. He always does the same thing. You know what's going to come next. He wants to get you wet quick so he can get inserted quick, and then you don't mind it going quick because it gets it over and done with quick. If you're not in a relationship, it can be a bit like how alive and tapped into pleasure you feel. There's this thing that as women in midlife, we dry up. I do not agree with that. A few years ago, I would have said we do, but I worked on myself, and I don't believe that at all. I believe that's what we're told, so we're believing it. Okay, I know a lot of midlife juicy women, and I was so dry at one point that I bled. It ripped, the skin ripped. Okay, and I just worked on different stuff, different ways, different approach. Are you putting off the sex conversation? Is it after a couple of wines? Are you having it but not present? Like, are you thinking about Tesco shopping list? Yeah, done that. Okay, so then you've got relationship. So relationship is how deeply connected you are with this person, how seen and heard and loved you feel. Are you having those regular truth conversations? And that isn't, you do this and I do that, that's the shadow of the mother. This is, you know, I've noticed this, I've noticed that. Do you think you can do that for me? What do you need or I need? Yeah, how do you feel? I feel. Often in sex, actually, we're not even talking in sex. So nobody knows what the other person is doing is right or not. We make these grunting sounds. We're not communicating. So relationships is communication. Does he come home from work and annoy you the minute he comes in by putting his bag on the floor somewhere? What do you want? Is it about the bag on the floor, or is it that he doesn't acknowledge you? Is it that he acknowledges the dog before he comes to you and gives you a kiss? Do you message him in the day to remember bread and he always forgets the bread? If that's the case, then as a woman you feel unseen, and if you feel unseen you feel unloved, and if you feel unloved, then yeah, game over. A woman loves to be adored. We love to be loved, we love to be seen, we love to be adored, and we love to be told we look great. That's what we love. It's what we love, it's what we thrive on. Obviously, there's a shadow of that, the wounded woman, and that is when we constantly need that because we can't give it ourselves. Okay, so that's like a bit like the shadow of the lover. So then you're looking at friends. Okay, how's your friendships? Often when you go on a growth journey, you can lose friends, or you can keep with those friends, and I like to call them pig friends. You have friends that you like to go out with, have a few drinks with, have a meal with, have fun with, but they're not the friends to kind of ask something deep. Or they're not the friends to say, do you want to come on a plant medicine journey, or do you want to come drumming with me? Or and how do you feel with your friends? Do you feel, if you shared something, okay, I'll share a story. So me and my friend, so you can monitor this where your friends are at, me and my best friend, when she has something to share with me on WhatsApp, she actually messages me, hey Emma, I'm not sure what space you're in at the moment. I have something that I want to share with you. Can you let me know when you're in a space to receive it? How amazing is that? Right? Because just dumping on people, unless like, you know, I'm your coach or something, but actually just dumping on people. Imagine if we all started to speak differently in this way, right? My mom will all of a sudden send a picture of my late dad over. She never thinks if I was ready in a space to receive that picture. Although again, it is my fault for looking at my phone. If you're looking at your phone, then you're in a place to receive everything. How many times do you look at your phone when you're actually not in a place to receive all the stuff that we're receiving on the phone? But actually, you know, start really thinking about how we word stuff, what we say. So friendships, maybe you need to work a little bit on that. And then you've got your career and work. Is that good? Is that filling you up? Do you dare say it isn't because you're petrified, because you need that money to pay the mortgage? Of course you do. But it's, if work's getting you down, how can you change it? Like work used to get me down. I used to work at Barclays Bank. I used to have lunch with people and everyone was like, no, 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 no. Everyone was just moaning all the time. So if that was the case and I couldn't leave that job, how could I move myself away from that lunchtime? Yeah, how could I distance myself? So career, work, is it, are you answering emails at 10 o'clock at night? I sometimes do, but then sometimes I have 3 hours off in the day. So it's, you know, I can, but you know, if you're getting up in the morning, having to look at that email, is your boss messaging you 7 o'clock on a Sunday night? Do you have a work WhatsApp group? I mean, do you want that? Yeah. What was the next one? Finances. Yeah. Look at your finances. I fear, anybody else have a bit of a money block fear? Which is quite interesting because my mom is so good with money. She does her money every single day. She checks her account every single day. I'm like, I've got a statement I haven't opened. And that can also be an ADHD thing as well. And my dad was exactly the same. I did a money mindset course. So anybody that needs help with money, I'll just throw this in. I did a money mindset course. And what she said is see money. And obviously I didn't do the work. So you can do these courses and not do the work. But see money as feminine and flowy. So the feminine is flowy, right? And money is always going to flow, right? So think about flowing movement, and it will come and it will go. And see money as more feminine. And she said to have a night with yourself and money. And she said to get, and some of the women did do this actually. When I was in this group, it was July, and they were doing all this stuff just as my dad passed away. So the course I didn't really finish it. And they got dressed up in really nice kind of stuff and lit candles and put music on and had a little glass of wine to do their money, to make it more fun and more playful than, oh my God, I've got to, yeah. But maybe you need to look at those 0% credit cards, or put your credit cards into a loan, which I just did. So I'm really happy about that. Maybe you are always saying, I don't have the money, but actually, yeah, no problem, Hannah. Actually, you're saying I don't have the money, but then the next thing you're buying a coffee at £3.10. Or, you know, yeah, like where are you with that? So you're buying stuff off Amazon. You go into Primark and spend 50 quid, right, on stuff that you don't need to fill you up. Is it that you don't have the money, or is it that you are buying things to fill you up, to make you feel good, when actually you do better looking at the lover archetype. Can you see how it all comes in now? And then the last one is emotions. So are you living like that queen, embodying your emotions? I feel anxiety. Okay, anxiety is not bad. I'm experiencing anxiety. Not, why have I got this anxiety? What's wrong with me? Or anger is bad. Just like see it, feel it to heal it, all those kind of things. Okay. So last few questions. You're going to have to do this on your own. What area of that circle in your life are you avoiding? Let's actually quickly, no, I won't make you shout out because it's recorded. So, but what area of your life are you avoiding on that circle?
A few.
A
Not just
few.
one. Yeah, I thought, when I was doing this, I was thinking, oh, I'm okay with my career. And now, as you will explain, I'm thinking, maybe I'm a bit avoidant. So, yeah. And then, of course, the sexual and relationships. Yeah, definitely avoidant.
And that's not a bad thing. We all do it, in actual fact, we break free when we're honest. But a lot of the time we don't want to be honest or truthful. So we just keep it, hoping that one day it will get sorted,
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And it doesn't. And yeah. Okay. And it doesn't mean that we have to change it tomorrow. Like, really, this has been work for me. This has been since 2018. And I'm still working on it now. And some days I'm like, why did I peel that plaster off? Why didn't I just keep putting the plaster on top? Like, it was fine before. But actually, then I wake up like days like today and I'm like, oh my God, like I am one embodied woman. Like, oh my God, I'm so glad I did this. And tomorrow, Monday morning, I'd never have the Monday morning blues because I choose my Monday morning. I choose how I want to start my Monday morning, right? And I never thought that was kind of available to me, but my finances, well, we need to work on those. So what have you said in 2023 all year? We're in November now. And what have you been wanting to look at, wanting to do, wanting to change, wanting to try, should? Kind of list those. Oh yeah, when I've got time, I'll do those workouts, or I'll look after my health, or yeah, we need to work on our relationship, or maybe it's only come up today that you're now realizing, wow. And what are you choosing in life? What are you choosing? Are you choosing the busy and the chaos? Does your child have to go to every single birthday party that they're invited to when you've got another one to get somewhere else as well? Do they need to do 4 hobbies a week and clarinet, which means you've got no money? Do they need to do that? Maybe you book beautiful, expensive holidays and weekends away with your family, but actually on Facebook, that looks great. You've got the Facebook photos and the smiles, but when you close the door on your family home, your home, it's anything but the Facebook smiles. There's tension. There's ickiness, there's stickiness, there's avoidance of the sex and the love, the conversations. That's real life. So actually we can take off the money spent on those kind of things and actually, believe me, you might not have as many what you would see as pleasures in life, experiences, but then you can start to work together so that when you go on the experience is amazing. I can remember with my ex-partner so many amazing experiences and holidays that behind that Facebook picture was not the truth of what was happening. There was another story. Now I'm with my partner and nothing that we're doing ever goes up on Facebook and stuff, really. It's only normally about my work because we don't need to. We don't need to. Okay, because there's just like this inner kind of togetherness. And if I was a woman that loved myself, I would. And that is a great question to ask yourself every single day. It's a question that I ask myself every single day. Not if I was a productive, perfect woman. Not if I was this perfect mom. Not if I was society's perfect. If I was a woman that loved myself today, I would. And you might think, well, I can't because it's busy and blah, blah, blah. And actually after this, I am going to get my boy's got a friend over. So I'm going to get him to his friends. And while Hugo's in the shower, I'm going to put Madonna on. Might even video it for Instagram to prove it. Because that's what came up in my mind today. Because my ex-partner's gone to see Madonna in Paris. Without me. Like, I mean... he's there right now. So yeah, what do you choose in your life? I think that in a nutshell, I don't want you to think of it, if I was a woman that loved herself, I would. That is a great way of starting every single day. And you can literally put pockets in. Like, I'm not going to say sorry today, unless I really have to say sorry. That could be it. Doesn't always mean that you're going, doing these amazing things. And we start to take things off our plate that's not serving us. Right? I took Hugo swimming off him because I hated going. He hated going. I hated going. It was money. It was dark. It was wet. Nobody enjoyed it. My mum said, but he won't get his 5 meters badge. Well, I don't know, where's my 5 meters badge? I was like, oh, okay. She said, I've still got your 5 meters badge. I was like, great, Mum, when you die, I'll be throwing it away. I don't need me 5 meters badge. Throw it away now. But he can swim, and I am actually going to get him other swimming lessons. But there was a chunk of his life between the ages of 8 where it was just hell to get him swimming. And now he's actually asked at 12. He can swim, by the way. But now he's actually said, yeah, I actually would like to make myself a better swimmer. Cool. Now we all want to go. So, like, honestly, I knew a mother at the school gate who was so exhausted. And yet everything that the other mom's kids were doing, she was finding out what it was and booking it up. I was like, Jesus Christ. Yeah. So those are just some examples of like step into that queen energy. Another note on queen energy, if somebody says, well, I'm doing Slimming World, or I'm doing this and my child's doing this, great, good for you. Glad it's working for you. I celebrate you. And then move on with your life. Don't start going into that, should I do this? Should I do that? Sit with that gut feeling, right? Sit with that gut. Right, any questions? Right, dead on 7 o'clock. Any questions? Anybody want to share anything?
I just wanted to say thank you. This has been really helpful. Funny enough, yesterday I had a sound bath. When you were saying our sound bath, I had that yesterday in Brighton. It was amazing. And then when Christina texted me this, I thought, oh, that'd be fantastic. I have a sound bath now. I feel all pampered. So no, thank you. It made me reflect on things that came up for me yesterday in the sound bath. I went to a journey, and I was like, everything is coming back, and it's like, oh my God, it's almost like a Sunday. I'm going to work tomorrow, and I feel like refreshed, and I don't know, it's something is happening. So it's great. Thank you very much. I know. Yeah, I feel like hopeful. And it's on paper, so I won't forget. I just need to do the homework.
Bring out the inner child, right?
Ooh.
There's inner child that, but bring out the playful, bring out the
You're
inner
sure
teenager.
nobody's ready for that?
Yeah. whenever we look at what we need, it's normally what we needed as a what we needed as a child, which is often love and safety, and also what we loved as a child, which is dance or drawing or pottery or writing or singing or walking in nature, or being with friends, but finding those real friends, because there's the sisterhood wounds as well, which we haven't even got into, but that I had. Well done. Anybody else want to share?
Just to say thank you. There's some low scores on my wheel thing, so that's been a bit of a check. I think.
Yeah. So just think, when we're booking these things up, like, is this really important? Is my relationship needing help, or my physical fitness? Just start to really kind of bring that in. Well done. Anybody else want to share?
Just thanks, Emma, and apologies I've been off camera. I've been having to do bedtime slightly, but really useful, and really made me think about where I am and where I'm lacking, I guess, in where I have lack in my life, really.
To just make 2024, I had to look at the date then. I still think it's 2011 sometimes, and 2016 I wrote the other day. Just like, I want to see, I have serious days and heavy days as well, and busy days. I do, but I just want women to be more free and fun and well pleasured. Oh, thank you, Alice, my lovely. Thank you. Abby, do you want to say anything? Are we all right?
Thank you.
All right. Okay.
All right. Cheers.
Thank you, Emma.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.